In this video, we're installing all of the Injora upgrades that are available for the Redcat Ascent-32. The Ascent-32 is a great beginner's truck, both in terms of driving and also learning how to modify them. To put that to the test, I'm gonna let Axel do most of the work today. First up, what's this? Steering linkage.
Yeah,
so we got metal steering linkage, that right here. Linkage, suspension linkage. Looks like these are all aluminum. We got slight bend in these for some high clearance in the lower links, it looks like. Shocks, this is gonna be great. This thing desperately needs new shocks. These are nice oil-filled shocks from Injora. I'm gonna take out that friction damped action and get rid of that bounciness, which I'm really excited for. What we got here? Brass skid plate. Gonna give us some weight down low. Brass knuckles. Yeah, this is what we're talking about right here. More weight, unsprung weight right where we want it. Diff covers, same thing. Those brass diff covers here. Gonna help us keep that weight down low. We'll probably just use the front, I think, for this. All right, what are we doing first?
I'm doing these.
The knuckles?
Yeah.
Yep, so you're gonna take, there's a screw on the top of each side.
I know.
You also want to take your little hexes off here and your pins, and don't lose these. Tiny little pieces.
So can you hold my truck down on that side?
Yep.
So I can actually press down.
Got them both?
Yeah.
So they should just pop right out now. Yep.
Like that?
Just like that.
Supposed to take the whole little axle and everything out.
Now you're gonna push the axle shaft out.
Ew.
All right, brass knuckles on. That was pretty easy. Now we're going to upgrade the front diff cover. So you got two screws right there, one on the top, one on the bottom. You're gonna take those out using that. There we go. That looks good.
Yeah, it does.
That black brass is nice. So now let's get into the not so easy and fun stuff here. We're gonna basically tear the whole thing apart. We're gonna take the skid plate off. We're gonna take the shocks off. All the links gotta come off, so we're gonna basically gut this thing.
Oh, because we're also replacing links.
We're doing links, skid plate, front and rear links, steering linkage. So this all has to come out. Nice strategy there.
What?
You're holding it with your forehead.
That would be a strategy.
Drop, look at that chassis gone right there.
Holy moly.
Yeah. All right, now it looks like a bomb went off and this thing is completely destroyed. Now we rebuild it with the new brass parts.
Okay.
So here's our links getting ready to go on. So you can see the rears are slightly longer than the fronts. So we got our rears separated down here. Let's start with the front. All right, fitment on these links is really good. One thing to note, beware of your bends on these links. And you can see that there's offset bends on these links here so that it can pivot. So these are gonna go off to the left, so it's bent that way. Just beware of that and make sure you put them in the right position. All right, axle's going back on, so let me line you up here. Okay, working on the shocks here. So typically Injora will put just a couple of drops of oil in these to lubricate the O-rings while they're in the package. Looks like it's the same here. Let's see, it doesn't come up to the top, so we gotta fill these things with oil. I'm gonna use a 20 weight. It's the lowest weight that I have. I'm just probably gonna do a couple of drops in each one because they're pretty small. Oh, lucky you, buddy. I bet you didn't think you were even gonna do shock oil. This is gonna be messy because I don't have a dropper or anything to do this. So I'm just gonna try to put like 2 drops in here without making a huge mess. And that pretty much brings it right up to the top. If you can see, it's right at the top there. Which is pretty full. Let's see, we're gonna make a mess.
So we're gonna make a mess?
Yep, this is a messy job. That's fine. So I'm just gonna move the piston up, let their excess oil come out. Move it up and down, make sure we get it's nice and full. And when you put this together, you're going to compress it and then put your cap on.
I'll put the cap on.
Let me get it started for you. Okay, tighten it. And see, it's coming out the top. It's got a bleeder hole in there. The excess oil is going to come right out the top. And it doesn't have to be super tight because it's got an O-ring in there. That's probably good. All right, that's nice right there. It feels good. That's a thick oil for something this small. We'll see how that does damping wise, but that's one. Day 2, back at it. We made good progress yesterday. We're gonna wrap up this morning, still in PJs and everything. Jumping on this early. We're gonna put the shocks on, and that should be the final piece here. We'll get it all reassembled. We're gonna position them where we want on the chassis, and we should be good. A bunch of stuff sticking to my arm.
But why did stuff stick to you?
It's my magnetic personality.
What? No.
All right, big guy. So we got some adjustment for shocks here. Generally, we want to angle them in as much as we can to help lower the center of gravity.
So now we're making this thing a little crawler?
We're going to try to improve it. Yeah, we're going to use what we got. All right, here's where we settled for shock placement. So the innermost setting on the front, and then to get it leveled and to get that drop that we wanted in the rear, moved it to the lower most forward section in the rear. Yeah, look at that, it's so much better.
Wait.
Here's the finished product right here. From the outside, looks pretty much stock. You got the big bore shocks there. You can tell the metal linkage up front. See a little bit of the brass. Biggest improvement there. No more friction damped bounce from the shocks. This thing should be much more composed driving. Metal linkage all underneath, brass skid. Looks good. Went together really well. It wasn't that hard to work on. A lot easier to work on than I thought, given the small scale. But Axel did most of the work. First drive, here we go. We didn't do anything to solve the jumpiness and the high gearing, but whoa.
That was funny, right?
Getting that grinding noise from it. It's rubbing on the body in the front tires at full lock are rubbing on the fenders. All right, side hill. We'll try this with the upgrades. We were right around 50 in stock form. We'll see how we are now. Oh, 52?
Yeah, 52.
Now the vertical. This is a little tricky because you got to hold the throttle a little bit to cheat, otherwise it will roll right off. So Axel's going to man the throttle delicately. And up we go. So we were right around 60 in stock form. Hear the whine from that ESC. 50. 55. 60, starting to slide a little bit. Oh, it's, well, 61.
Yeah, 61.
Next up is weight distribution. So this thing had pretty good weight distribution in stock form. It had 56 front, 44 rear. Here we are with the upgrades. 60-40, so we got a perfect 60-40 split on this. 178 grams, that's up from about 146 in stock form. All right, out here at the gravel pit with the upgraded baby Redcat. I didn't take it here to start with, but we'll get a good idea of how it does.
I didn't even put the book. And this is really sad.
I always have to adjust my driving style with these little things because everything is so challenging. It's definitely much more planted. Yeah, you need to upgrade tires next, I think. Definitely use some extra tires or some better tires. Nice, that was awesome.
Oh, you were talking about me.
The more I drive this, I think we got big improvements, it feels. I can't wait to get the electronics sorted out. I see some folks are already going brushless with these. I hope we get some gear ratios. I don't think brushless is necessary if you can get the good gear ratio, just like in the Ascent-18s. That would be interesting to try the brushless though. Give it to Axel to tool around on since he did most of the work on it. Axel loves these little micros.
Yeah.
Why do you like them so much, buddy?
I don't know. I think it's just because they're so much smaller, so like everything is more fun.
Yeah?
Like every little pebble is kind of fun.
Yep.
Like the bigger the things are funner. Yeah, lying around.
Yeah, you told me earlier that you like because you can take them anywhere, right? That's what you said? All right, we lost a wheel nut somewhere, so we're gonna go find another wheel nut, or that might be it for our trip out today. All right, just out here in the backyard course with the Ascent-32 after getting the wheel put on it. We'll try to race the daylight here. It's about 4 o'clock and it's gonna be dark soon here in New England, these short winter days, but this is gonna be fun for the Ascent. We'll give it a shot. I haven't tried it out here in stock form, but this is gonna be a good testing ground, I think. Oh, am I stuck here? It's tricky. I gotta use the throttle a lot, but not too much. I don't wanna lose it. It'll get away from me. There we go. That wheel speed's nice when you need it. I just got to get that gear ratio sorted out. Oh, there we go. Am I going to make it? If I can float. Oh, yes. Nice. I am starting to feel the servo struggling a little bit here in this situation. See if we can make one hole go around here. It's gonna be tricky up here. These kind of softball size rocks. Oh. There we go. I emerged from the tree branch there. Feeling really stable through there. That's a nasty kind of off-camber section. This is going to be tricky too. Give a little help there up on that rock. There we go. Oh, we land on the wheels. Despite the extra weight, still feeling a little tippy here, more so than I was expecting. I want to get up there. As you can see, that steering is just not letting me maneuver in that section. And come around. Oh, I'm bottomed out there. Oh. Oh, jeez. It's one of my favorite SCX-24 lines. Is that no problem? Nice. Even getting through that little hole right there, that was good. Much better getting through there that time. Another one of my usual lines here. Oh. Just out of curiosity before I wrap this up, I want to see how the Ascent-32 compares to a SCX-24 now that we're well into SCX-24 money with the upgrades on the Ascent-32. This is a box stock C10. Retail on this is 150 bucks now with the V2. It's got different wheels and tires on it, but they are still stock axial. I want to drive this back to back just to see the difference between these two platforms. Granted, but just by virtue of size, the C10 is going to be much more capable. Oh, still tippy. Oh man, you see there, the small size has its advantage, being able to navigate through some trickier lines. But overall, the C10 just kind of gliding through. Now the purpose of this wasn't to throw shade at the Ascent-32 by any means. It's more just to show if you had $150-ish, what could you get with the money? And comparing it to the SCX-24 here was just kind of one of many scenarios that you could throw out there. Now, the gap between the two was not as big as I was expecting. The Ascent-32 actually did much better than I thought it would. But this is just something interesting I wanted to just throw out there for you guys. All right, guys, there you have it, the upgraded Ascent-32. I still cannot get over how small these things are. These Injora upgrades helped a lot. Really impressed with the weight bias we were able to achieve with the near perfect 60/40. The extra weight down low, the unsprung weight, really helps it with crawling. I think it can still be improved with some sticky, grippy tires, which I know the aftermarket is going to address soon, and got to do something with that gear ratio. Nonetheless, these were fun. It was a fun project. Axel did a great job putting them on. He did pretty much all of the work himself. What did you think of this project?
Awesome!
You did pretty much all the work.
Yeah.
How was it doing all the modifications yourself?
Good.
Yeah?
Yep.
Was it hard?
Not that hard.
You did a good job.
Yeah, it was good.
How did it perform after you did the upgrades?
I expected more.
Oh, you did?
I expected it to be a lot better than stock.
What could they do to make it better?
Maybe new tires.
I agree.
Maybe some a faster motor. Like
Faster motor? I think it needs slower.
Yeah, like a good torque motor that can do like really slow and pretty fast.
You're thinking brushless. You want to go brushless with this thing, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. That way you get the best of both worlds. You could go slow and you could go fast if you wanted to.
Yeah, I'm saying brushless.
Okay. Yeah. It could benefit from a better servo. I think with the weight and things up front, I found a couple of times, especially if we put sticky tires on this, I think you're going to run into servo complications. So I think a stronger servo is going to be next up on deck for me too. But otherwise, I think we're pretty well aligned. Those are not gonna fit.
I just found these over here.
All right, guys, this was a fun project. The micro size is starting to grow on me. We got some stuff done to the SCX-30. These are starting to ship now too. So we'll see if this new scale catches on. I have a feeling that it might. I'll put a link in the description down below for all the parts that we used in this video. And remember, you can use my discount code to save 5% on all things at Injora.com. And as always, I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so, and I'll see you in the next video.